Hi there and welcome to my game review for Christmas Mahjong. In this review I will explain what this game is, what to expect, and if it is a game I recommend to you. Now on to the review. What is Christmas Mahjong? Christmas Mahjong is a Mahjong game that uses a Christmas theme as its main selling point. Originally, this game is a free-to-play iPad game. However, this game is now available on various platforms. This review in particular is based on the Steam version. However, from what I have gathered, it is the same game with no extras or adjustments made for alternate platforms, excluding the fact that on the Steam version there is no microtransactions, so you cannot pay to unlock levels. But one thing that annoys me is that there is in-game trophies, yet the developers could have made them into achievements on the Steam version, but didn't. The concept of the game itself is simple and very easy to get into playing. Essentially, the game is about matching two of the same picture style in a Mahjong format. However, I feel that the tutorial holds the player's hand too much, particularly if you've played a Mahjong game and know what to do, primarily because you have to make the same moves as the tutorial with no different moves allowed. Unfortunately, you have to do the tutorial and there is no option to skip the tutorial. But as simple as it is to get into the game itself, this game isn't as straightforward as the concept on paper seems. To many people, they would think that the objective of this game is to clear the board, but instead your objective is to match all the golden tiles on the board in as little moves as possible. This game does increase its difficulty the further you go in the game, particularly on the multi-layered levels, as it is possible to get the pieces you don't need. To add to this, the game expects you to earn 3 stars in each level. Stars are earned by meeting quotas on each level. You earn 1 star meeting each quota in 3 different fields, these being making a limited number of moves, obtaining all of the golden tiles, and by earning enough gold coins in each level. Each level has a different requirement. But this game is a luck-based game in a sense. This is because you are dependent on the game providing you with suitable tiles, so you can make moves. If you have a set that provides you with no moves, you must use the reshuffle button. I found saving this ability for the said instance, as it is particularly useful in getting you out of a scenario of having unsuitable tiles. This is frustrating, as the game makes you use it so much in order to achieve level requirements. On some levels, it may possibly take multiple attempts to complete. This is because of the randomised tiles, and if it is in your favour or not. I also think that it makes the idea of trying to achieve 3 stars on every level become particularly challenging. The game itself I think is quite decent for the content provided. Graphically, I like the art style, as it fits the game very well and is very reminiscent of a traditional Christmas card. The backgrounds and characters in the game are created in a painting style. I also like the Christmas themed level setouts, since many of the levels are of items that are symbolic of Christmas, such as Christmas trees. I think it is quite fitting to have levels set out in this way. However, at other times, I found levels set out like patterns, which aren't very festive. Musically, I feel that although the tracks provided in the game are festive, but I feel that because there are only a few different tracks in the game, it does get repetitive, and after so long, you end up turning off the sound. However, I don't like the game's description on Steam. I dislike this mainly because the description offers a traditional Christmas story in the spirit of Dickens. This quote's been taken directly from a Steam store description, which you can see. However, there was no mention of the story in the game, with an exception of a comic strip at the start of the game that features Santa in a house at the start of the game. There is no story or anything, not even a slight reference to any simple story outside of this. So if you're looking to play a game that has a Christmas story, sadly this game isn't what you're looking for, as this game is just a selection of Mahjong levels, nothing more, nothing less. Overall though, I will admit that Christmas Mahjong is a fun game to play on. I do note that Christmas Mahjong does have a limited amount of content. Personally, I would generally avoid the game, primarily because it is a copied and pasted port of a free-to-play game, with no new additions made to Steam, except for the removal of microtransactions, but I would implore that if possible, playing on the App Store version, as it is free, except for optional microtransactions. However, if you insist on buying this game, get it on sale, as there isn't many Christmas Mahjong games available on Steam.